Hello students, welcome back to Vishal sir, Physics in Real Life. So today we are going to study and discuss about chapter 2, Electrostatic Potential and Capacitance, part 4. I hope in part 1, part 2 and part 3 you have no doubt. This is the last part of this chapter. In this PPT we cover the following points: combination of capacitors when connected in parallel combination, energy stored in a capacitor. Next one is common potential, and last one is energy loss. Again, one important point in this PPT, we cover both notes as well as assignment. So watch carefully and observe diagrams carefully. Now we move towards next slide where we study combination of capacitors, that is in parallel combination. Students, we continue part 3. In part 3 we already discussed what is series combination. Okay, now here we discuss what is parallel combination. Before we start parallel combination, again some important points we should note down. Okay, we already discussed in part 3, in series combination charge remains same and potential divide. Okay, in parallel combination charges divide and potential remains same. I repeat, in parallel combination charge divide and potential remains same. Now what do you mean by parallel combination? Here we consider, observe figure 2.15, here we consider three capacitors C1, C2 and C3. Now what do you mean by parallel combination? When the positive terminal of all the capacitors, positive plate of all capacitors is connected to positive terminal of battery. At the same time, negative terminal of all capacitors are connected to a negative terminal of battery. This type of combination is said to be parallel combination. This is general definition. Now observe in slide, when capacitors are connected across two same points, okay, across two same points, and potential difference across all remains same. We already discussed. In parallel combination, potential remains same. Okay, and potential difference across all remains same. The combination is called parallel combination. Let us derive formula for parallel combination. Let three capacitors of capacitance C1, C2 and C3 are connected in parallel combination. Okay, the charge stored in all capacitors respectively given by, charges divide in parallel combination. That's why here we consider Q1, Q2 and Q3. You know the formula for capacitance, C should be equal to Q by V, therefore Q should be equal to CV. So what is the value of Q1 then? Good, Q1 should be equal to C1V. In the same way, Q2 should be equal to C2V and Q3 should be equal to C3V. Okay. Now we have to find out the value of equivalent value of capacitance in parallel combination. Suppose capital C or Cp, we can denote it by Cp also, is the equivalent capacitance of the combination, and Q is the net charge stored, then as you know that in parallel combination charges divide. That's why we get Q should be equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. We continue in next slide. As we discussed in slide number 3, we continue this slide. Q should be equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So you know the value of Q, you know the value of Q1, you know the value of Q2 and you know the value of Q3. Put up all values. What you get? dV should be equal to C1V plus C2V plus C3V. Okay. Now as you know that in parallel combination potential remains same, means V remains constant. Therefore divide this equation by V, what will remaining C should be equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. This is the value of equivalent capacitance when we connect all capacitors in parallel combination. Now you have to obtain the general formula. Here up to this we assume only 3 capacitance C1, C2 and C3. Suppose in circuit we connect n number of capacitors in parallel combination. Then what is the formula? Very easy. What to do? So the formula should be C should be equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus so on up to Cn. This is the general formula of capacitance. Then what do you observe? In parallel combination, the equivalent capacitance is greater. It is reverse of resistance. In previous classes, we studied in parallel combination the value of resistance goes on decreasing. But here, the value of capacitance goes on increasing. That's why in parallel combination, the equivalent capacitance is greater than the large capacitance present in the combination. Okay. Now next point is that in parallel combination, the charge distributes in the direct ratio. You know, in series combination it is in inverse ratio. Now in parallel combination, it should be in the form of direct ratio of capacitance. That is, Q1 by Q2 should be equal to C1 by C2. I hope you understood up to this. You have no doubt in this topic. You have any doubt? Please ask any time. Now we proceed towards next slide, where we discuss energy stored in a capacitor. Energy stored in a capacitor. As you know that the amount of work done is stored in the form of potential energy. Students, please go to part 1 of this chapter. Okay, in part 1 we already discussed what is in the potential energy. The amount of work done in raising the potential of a capacitor is stored in the form of energy of the capacitor. Okay, we repeat, the amount of work done in raising the potential of a capacitor is stored in which form? Stored in the form of energy of the capacitor. Now let us find out derivation part. Let the potential of a capacitor is increased by dV. Now here we increase the potential by small amount, that is dV, by giving a charge of plus Q. The amount of work done or energy stored in the capacitor is given by, as you know that we increase the potential by small amount dV. That's why the amount of work done should be small, that is dW. As you know that from part 1, the amount of work done stored in the form of potential energy. Again, it is a very small quantity, that is du. You know the formula, you know the relation between potential energy and potential. U should be equal to QV. Okay. Therefore, du should be equal to how much? Good. Q dV. Now, by definition of capacitance, you know that C should be equal to how much? Q by V. That's why Q should be equal to CV. Therefore, you get dU should be equal to CV dV. This is the value of amount of work done in the form of energy. But you have to find out the value of total energy stored in the capacitor. Again we use the method of calculus, that is integration. Here we use two formula of integration. The first one is, you know, integration of x to the power n dx should be equal to x to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. And second one is integration of k dx, where k is the constant, is equal to k times integration of dx, which is equal to kx. Apply these both the formulae to our equation. Now here capital C is constant, take it outside. What is remaining inside the integration? V dV. As we discussed, formula x to the power n dx. The value of n here should be equal to 1. What you get? N plus 1 upon n plus 1. that is 2. Therefore, integration of VdV should be equal to Cv square by 2. This is the formula for total energy stored in the capacitor. This formula is very important when we solve the problems. What is the formula of energy stored in a capacitor? U should be equal to half Cv square. How to remember this formula? Very simple. You know the formula for kinetic energy. Kinetic energy should be equal to half mv square. Now replace mass by c and velocity by v, capital V. Okay, good. What is the formula then? U should be equal to half Cv square. Now for problem we require different forms. So in next slide we discuss different forms of energy stored in a capacitor. From previous slide you get the formula of U, that is U should be equal to half Cv square. But we require different form. Very easy. You just apply the formula of C. You know formula of C, capacitance V should be equal to Q by V. Suppose we mark it by equation 1, half Cv square. Mark it by equation 1 in your notes. Okay. But C should be equal to Q by V. Replace that C by Q by V in above equation 1. What you get? U should be equal to, in place of C write Q by V, V get cancelled out. What is remaining? U should be equal to half QV. Mark it by 2. This is another form of energy stored in a capacitor. This is in terms of Q and V. Now you can obtain in terms of Q and C. Again apply the same formula, same definition of capacitance. As you know that C is equal to Q by V. That's why V should be equal to Q by C. Now replace V from equation 2 by Q by C. What you get? U should be equal to half Q square by C. Okay. Now these are the three different forms of energy stored in a capacitor. Remember all these three formulas. The first one is U is equal to half Cv square. Second one is U is equal to half QV. And third one is half Q square C. Okay. I hope up to this you have no problem in this slide. Now we move towards next slide, where we will discuss what we mean by common potential. Common potential. You know common means what? Common means same potential. When we connect number of capacitors, we have to find out the value of common potential. Here we consider the case of two capacitors. Okay. Observe in slide, when two capacitors charged to the different potential, we have to find out the value of common potential of these two capacitors are connected. The redistribution of charge takes place and the capacitors require same potential. Okay, they require the same potential which we call as common potential. I hope you understood the definition. I repeat, when two capacitors charged to the different potentials are connected, the redistribution of charge takes place and the capacitor acquires same potential called common potential. Okay, now by definition of common potential, we conclude that common potential Vc, V for potential and C for common. Then Vc should be equal to net charge stored upon net capacitance. You know net means total. Here we consider the case of two capacitors. That's why we get here Q1 and Q2 two charges and capacitors C1 and C2. And what is the formula of Vc? Vc should be equal to Q1 plus Q2 because you find the value of total value. If you consider 3 capacitors, then Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 and so on. Okay, Q1 plus Q2 upon C1 plus C2. But by definition of capacitance, you know the formula for Q. As you know that C should be equal to Q by V. That's why Q should be equal to CV. Okay, for Q1 equal to C1 V1. For Q2 it should be equal to C2 V2. Put up that value in this equation, we get the required formula. What you get? Vc should be equal to C1 V1 plus C2V2 upon C1 plus C2. Okay, this is the formula for common potential when we consider the case of two capacitors. In next slide, we discuss energy losses. Again, energy losses you consider a combination of two capacitors. Okay, energy loss. In previous slide, we discussed common potential where we consider two capacitors. Again, in this case also, we consider two capacitors. When two capacitors charged to the different potentials are connected, then acquired a common potential which is given by from previous slide. What is formula of common potential from previous slide? Vc equal to C1 V1 plus C2 V2 upon C1 plus C2. Now here we find out the value of energy. From previous slide, you know the formula for energy. U should be equal to half CV square. Now here we consider two capacitors. Okay. Now apply for two capacitors. Observe in slide, initial energy of the system of two capacitors C1 and C2 charged to the potential V1 and V2 respectively. Here we consider first case without connecting. Okay. What is the formula then U1 for C1? U1 should be equal to half C1 V1 square. What is the formula for C2? Half C2 V2 square. So what is the formula? U1 should be equal to half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square. This is a case without connecting. Now in next slide, we connect both the capacitors. Okay. I hope up to this you have no problem. Now move towards next slide. We continue energy loss. Okay, from previous slide you get the equation 1. U1 should be equal to half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square. This is the case without connecting. Now we connect two capacitors, okay, in parallel, suppose. Thus final energy is stored in the system after connection. Observe equation 2, mark it by equation 2, U2. What you get? U2 should be equal to half. Now as they are connected in parallel combination, so what is the equivalent capacitance? C1 plus C2. And the common potential, you know the common potential from previous slide, the value of Vc. Okay, you can put up the value of Vc here. What you get? In place of Vc you get C1 V1 plus C2 V2 whole square upon C1 plus C2 whole square. Mark it by equation 2. Now our aim is to find the value of energy loss. How can find out the value of energy loss? Suppose energy loss is denoted by delta U. So delta U should be equal to difference between these two cases. Means delta U should be equal to U1 minus U2. You know the value of U1 and U2 from equation 1 and 2. Put up the value of U1 and U2 in this equation. What you get? Since half is common, take it outside. You know the value of U1 then. C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square. This is the value of U1. And the value of U2 should be from equation 2. C1 plus C2 into C1 V1 plus C2 V2 whole square whole upon C1 plus C2 whole square. Okay, mark it by as the equation suppose 3. Next slide, we solve this equation. Okay, from your side we get this equation half C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square minus C1 plus C2 C1 V1 plus C2 V2 whole square upon C1 plus C2 whole square. Now observe in this slide, one term is cancelled out, that is C1 plus C2, which is common in numerator and denominator in second quantity. Okay, what you get? Half C1 V1 square plus C2 V2 square minus 1 by C1 plus C2. Now you have to expand this bracket by using the formula. As you know that A plus B whole square is nothing but A square plus B square plus 2 times AB. Here the value of A square is nothing but C1 square V1 square. In place of B square, what you get? C2 square V2 square. And in place of 2AB, what you get? 2 times C1 V1 into C2 V2. Okay. Now, next step, take it the LCM of C1 plus C2 and solve the equation. You get the last equation, which is in the form of, observation slide. What you get? Half inside the bracket C1 square V1 square plus C2 square V2 square plus C1 C2 V1 square plus C1 C2 V2 square minus C1 square V1 square minus C2 square V2 square minus 2 times C1 C2 into V1 V2 whole upon C1 plus C2. Okay, to proceed this equation next slide. I hope you have no doubt in this up to this. Okay, from previous slide we reach up to this equation, from previous slide. Now observe first equation in this slide. Some terms get cancelled out and some terms get common. After taking the common term, what you get? Half C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. What will be remaining inside the bracket? Inside the bracket we get V1 square plus V2 square minus 2 times V1 V2. Now you know the formula of A minus B whole square, which is nothing but A square plus B square minus 2 times AB. Here in place of A square you get V1 square. In place of B square you get V2 square. In place of minus 2AB you get minus 2 times V1 V2. Means this is the formula of A minus B whole square. In next step you get final expression delta U should be equal to 1 by 2 C1 C2 as it is. Now this is in the form of A minus B whole square. That's how we get V1 minus V2 whole square whole divided by C1 plus C2. This is the formula of energy loss. Okay. Here you observe that delta U is always positive. Okay, because here we get V1 minus V2 whole square. No matter whether V1 is greater than V2 or V2 greater than V1, we get whole square is always positive. There is always loss of energy due to heat dissipation in connecting wire. Okay. I hope up to this you understood very well. We move towards next slide. Assignment part 4. First question is obtain an expression for equivalent capacitors in parallel combination. From slide 2. Define energy stored in a capacitor. Obtain, up to this 1 mark, obtain an expression for it in different forms. Okay, total mark is 3. Same question in other form is show that energy stored in a capacitor is given by U is equal to half QV. Again, this is up to 3 marks. Next question, what is common potential? 1 mark. Obtain an expression for common potential. This is 2 marks. Total 3 marks. And last one, obtain an expression for energy loss of capacitor in parallel combination. Show that energy loss is always positive. In last slide, we prove energy is always positive. Energy loss is always positive. Okay, students. I think up to this you have no doubt. Move towards next slide. Thanking you, students, for listening carefully. In this slide, we end of the chapter 2. We covered whole chapter in part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. I hope you have no doubt in all the parts. Good day and hope we will meet in the next class soon. Thank you.